Texas is ranked number 2 for the most reported trafficking cases in the United States. A common misconception is that trafficking is only happening in other countries, and the truth of the matter is trafficking is quite prevalent in the United States. It's not just in the larger communities, larger cities, it's happening in rural areas, and it's happening here in Texas.
The problem is real, but I will say that it usually doesn't look the way that most people would think that it looks. For example, I've not seen, and I don't think it's common for the types of things you might see in the media where someone is in the parking lot of a grocery store and they get snatched up and suddenly they're now being trafficked. That's not the type of things that we see. Rather, the types of cases that we do see are situations where someone who is in a vulnerable or at-risk position is taken advantage of by a trafficker who is specifically seeking out those vulnerable individuals.
I've had friends at school and even met guys online before. But this time it feels different. Brad is so into me. We only met online a week ago, but I already feels like he knows everything about me.
This guy said that he was gonna loan me 10,000 pesos for my visa to make my trip. He promised me I will have a job where I get paid $15 an hour, and I can even work 40 hours a week.
Yes, I love this game. I finally reached prestige level in this game, and it took me so long to get here. I even met this gamer, and he's super cool. He gives me cheat codes and helps me out along the way.
Trafficking is very much a relationship that's established. Trafficking is a very lucrative business. Traffickers do not have a shortage of funds, nor do they have a shortage of time to invest in the individuals that they are looking to exploit. And so relationship is established, and during that relationship there's a lot of different tactics that they'll use to try to coerce or manipulate their victim. And it typically starts with, in that relationship, this grooming process where they will take the time to get to know the individual, take the time to know what their vulnerabilities are, what their needs are that are not being met, what their wants are, what they like to do, who their family members are, who their spheres of influence, who their friends are. They will take time to really establish a relationship with an individual.
He calls me beautiful. We talk for hours every day. He understands me in a way nobody else does.
Sometimes I even let him log in as me so that he can help me advance in the game. I'm so excited to reach this next level.
I'm really excited for this opportunity. I can pay off my debt. I will be able to send money to my abuelita, my abuelito, and my mama.
I really think he's my soulmate. I know he's a lot older than me, but he just gets me.
When we talk about people who might be vulnerable specifically to trafficking, we think about kids who have experienced sexual abuse. We know oftentimes folks who have experienced sexual violence, their perception about love, sex, healthy relationships, it can sometimes be warped or jaded because of their experience. What traffickers or people who are hoping to exploit kids are building that connection, that rapport, like a bank, right? So every time I validate you, I appreciate you, I make you feel good about yourself, I'm dropping something into that relationship, right? And so with the intention to withdraw from that bank, meaning I'm gonna ask you to do something, I'm gonna ask you to meet up with me, I'm gonna ask you to bring your best friend, I'm gonna ask you to go into school and look for kids that are feeling alone and isolated, and I want you to bring those kids over to my house, or I wanna connect with those folks. So one of the things that we're seeing a huge trend, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is talking a lot about child sextortion, where people will create relationships and encourage the child to send a nude, like in a flirting type situation. And almost instantly when they send that picture, that person starts coming after them for money or trying to force them to commit a criminal act or all kinds of really scary things.
For minors, a lot of these individuals in that grooming phase have been blackmailed. They have had still shots or videos of them performing sexual acts that are being used against them. And they perhaps thought that this relationship, most of them feel that this relationship was going to be healthy and that this person cared about them. And then to see that this individual is now trying to hurt them or try to exploit them, they're ashamed, they're embarrassed. But then also the additional layer of knowing now that this trafficker is willing and threatening to show these videos and these still shots to their family members and their friends and put it on the internet and things like that. It is very embarrassing.
He said my mom and dad wouldn't ever want to see me again knowing what I'd done. I don't know what to do. I'm scared.
That gamer hacked into my computer and downloaded the naked pictures that I sent to my girlfriend, and even all of my browsing history. He's even threatened to send the pictures to my parents and all of my friends. My dad's a priest, he's going to kill me, and my mom's gonna be so disappointed. This is going to ruin my life, I don't know what to do. Might as well just end it all.
There is a common myth and misconception that trafficking victims are all female. And the truth of the matter is, though the majority of trafficking victims are female, there are many individuals, trafficked individuals, that are male as well. And for males, they have an additional layer of shame associated with it because they are typically exploited by males, and typical buyers are males. And so for that demographic, there's an additional layer of shame and embarrassment associated with it. And so very few male victims will come forward, period. There are marginalized communities, that's those that are socioeconomic status is lower. Those are individuals that are in the LGBTQ community. Those are all individuals that have heightened vulnerabilities because a lot of them have been shunned or misrepresented in their communities, and they are looking for people to love them and accept them and care for them. And so traffickers will absolutely feed and prey on that. The truth is that trafficking victims can be any gender, any age, any race. We've worked with victims as young as 3 years old, and we've worked with victims as old as 76 years old. And so trafficking is cyclical, it's a pattern.
So labor trafficking can be anything. It can be hotels, the cleaning crew in hotels. It can be restaurants. It can be massage parlors. It's nail salons, bars, strip clubs. It's pretty much endless. 80% of the sex trafficking occurs in hotel rooms. Around here, specifically in Williamson County, we do have a lot of illicit massage parlors. Approximately in Williams County, we have about 30. And in each illicit massage parlor, there's anywhere from 3 to 6 individuals that are being not only sex trafficked, but labor trafficked at the same time.
So I've heard of some situations where people would go into Mexico and find folks who wanted that American dream of my kids could go to school, I can make good money there, send it back home, and then they quickly come over to be a nanny or landscaping or a house cleaner, those types of situations, and their passport or documentation are taken, or they're not allowed to leave the house, or they're working extended hours. And again, they don't know how to call law enforcement. They don't know they're being a victim of a crime. How are they going to get home?
Most of the labor trafficking that I've seen has to do with, usually it's going to be foreign nationals. And foreign nationals who have been taken advantage of, again, a vulnerable population where they believe that they're coming here for an opportunity, that they're being given something by being brought here. They house them in a very specific place, and they limit transportation and opportunities to engage in other housing situations. And so by controlling both housing and transportation, it makes it very difficult for people being labor trafficked to ever have an opportunity to report or talk to someone.
I live in a single room with 18 other men. They told me I must follow rules or they will deport me. I am not allowed to leave the camp. Nobody is allowed to visit us. We are working on the fields early on the morning when the sun rises until the sun sets. The patron who is monitoring us is not letting us speak to anybody. He reminds us that he's got all the money and all the power, And if we don't do as he says, he will send us back to Mexico. I have received no money, and they give us very little comida, no agua. I'm tired, hungry, and scared. How am I going to get out of here? Will I ever see my mama again?
Both labor and sex trafficking, they're very difficult to detect. And part of that for labor trafficking is that they see themselves as indebted to the trafficker, right? Because they feel like they've been given something, it's very difficult for them to want to come forward, to cooperate, to report, because they do feel a sense of indebtedness for being able to come here. The trafficker has done something for them. Now the trafficker uses that to their advantage to manipulate and control.
A lot of survivors that I have worked with have a hard time with a lot of the PSAs or public service announcements or billboards that talk about human trafficking. If you look back in time over a lot of the digital depiction of these types of crimes, you'll often see a female. You might often see a person of color or a young girl with chains on her wrist, big black eyes, malnourished, those types of situations. And the reality is most folks who are being a victim of trafficking don't look like that. And so when we talk about this perception of like, why do kids or why do people going through these hard things, why don't they speak up? When we are advertising that this is what it looks like, and it doesn't identify with what my situation is, it makes it really hard to speak up, right? My team, we go out and we do prevention education. There's 3 kind of buckets of community members in my eyes when I think about prevention education, right? We got children, that's one bucket. We have parents and caregivers, that's another bucket. And then we have professionals, what I think of as like teachers or child serving professionals, coaches, etc., right? So something I'm seeing with kiddos is 1, empowering them to recognize the signs and symptoms, and 2, telling them to look out for each other.
Ways that you can partner with organizations like the Key to Free is get involved. We're always looking for volunteers to help in various capacities. And then take the education that you've received, what you've learned about human trafficking, and share it with your sphere of influence. The prevention piece is so important in fighting human trafficking. So take what you know and share it with others.
Traffickers are very sophisticated. These criminal organizations are very smart. They know what they're doing. You can help by getting educated, spreading awareness, and also by reporting any suspicious activity.
Traffickers are doing what they're doing because there's an incentive to do it and because there's a population that they can exploit. Truthfully, I think that reducing the customer base for people who are engaging in sex work or sexual content, some of them are knowing individuals doing it intentionally, but not all of them are. And a reduction in the demand will also decrease the supply. The people who are being targeted are vulnerable. If we as a society and as a community find those vulnerable people before the traffickers do, if we are intentionally and proactively seeking them out to make them stable, to provide them resources, to give them the things that they need to prevent traffickers from exploiting the weaknesses that they may have, that is very real, something that we can do as a community.
My name is Judge Evelyn McLean, and I oversee a wide variety of cases in my courtroom. You're not alone, and there are people who care and want to help. If you're in a risky situation, talk to someone that you trust, a teacher, a counselor, or even law enforcement. If you're worried about a friend, don't ignore it. Speak up. Your voice could be what keeps them safe.
I'm Dr. Christie Parker-Wheeler. I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Georgetown, and I'd like to thank you for visiting our mobile unit and for watching our presentation. As Georgetown has grown, we've seen the problem with human trafficking grow as well. Quite a few years ago, there were a few members of the Rotary Club that decided that because we had seen so much in the media about the rise of human trafficking, that we wanted to be a part of any type of effort where we could educate and advocate for those victims and see what we could do to engage the community. Our mobile unit came about a few years ago when some Rotarians were noticing that human trafficking was becoming a bigger issue here in Central Texas. They found this 40-foot trailer and decided to wrap it. It's large, it's pulled by a wrapped truck, and basically anywhere where that mobile unit can fit, we go out and do what we can to educate the community. We've seen that a lot of people who go in and out of there are learning from it. They got some donations, some grant funds, and were able to incorporate a video in the interior and a lot of different literature that all talks about the education efforts that we as Rotarians do and that community members can benefit from. Our main effort with human trafficking is education. So we are involved on kind of a peripheral level, but we do work with a lot of organizations here in town. We work with the Sheriff's Office, we work with the Williamson County Child Advocacy Center, and they're doing a lot of the boots on the ground work with the victims and with the actual traffickers themselves, but they are all aware of our role as community advocates and those who are in our small way trying to educate. The Rotary Club of Georgetown's Human Trafficking Awareness Team aligns with Rotary International's broader mission of service above self by advocating and educating our community members, and we work towards educating about the bigger problem which exists right now, which is human trafficking.